First and foremost, I want to take this opportunity to thank Maui Fire Department, all the first responders, and our community members. Those of you who were looking at social media yesterday saw a bunch of people getting together at the Humane Society to move animals, and that kind of stuff always makes me super proud to be a part of our Maui community. Just a side note, the smoke in Kihei is very gnarly right now. If you're going to be outside of your residence, you're going to expose yourself to it. Make sure you're wearing a respirator. It's going to help you. And then if you have any specific questions or you need any assistance, the Premier Restoration 24/7 number is 808-873-8886. You don't just have to call for service. You can call for advice. You can call for help. As I've stated many times before, we're here to support our community. We're just ready to help. So wanted to put a video together on how to clean up after a brush fire. It does seem like this is something that our community is going to have to deal with. And so there's a few simple things that you can do as a property owner that will save you a lot of time, energy, and effort in cleaning up your own property if you choose to do so. My name's Anthony Nelson. I'm SVP of Operations for Premier Restoration Hawaii. I've been in property restoration since I got out of high school. I've got more certificates than I do fingers and toes in our world, and it's pretty much the only thing I know, and I nerd out on it. I really enjoy the science behind doing what we do and helping people. So that's a little bit about me. Also, the intent of this video is not to showcase any tips or tricks for inside restoration experts. This is specifically geared towards the average homeowner who's looking to clean up their own house after a brush fire has occurred and you got smoke and soot inside your house. If you do need professional service, I always tell everybody you can feel free to call us anytime. Our number is 808-873-8886, and that's 24/7. So a little bit on soot. So the one thing that you have to understand that kind of cascades down to all aspects of fire restoration cleaning is the fact that when soot mixes with water, it turns into an acid. So what this does to the things that are in your home is anything that can be corroded, metals, porcelains, those types of materials, they'll actually start to show corrosion if they have soot on them for an extended period of time. So you're going to want to focus cleaning those areas first. The other thing is whenever soot mixes with the natural moisture inside of your body, either through your lungs or your skin, it'll irritate it just like any normal acid would. So just be careful with your exposure there and make sure that you're wearing the appropriate respiratory protection. The next thing that's important to understand is you're going to want to minimize dust. So soot is a very light particle. It travels freely in the atmosphere. And you're going to want to make sure that you keep your doors closed, your windows closed. I got a few tips and tricks after if you're feeling warm on how you can help. And when you're working in your yard, make sure that you're not using any leaf blowers. If you're going to cut your grass, bag the clippings. Don't just use the side discharge, because what you're going to do is put all those particulates that have settled down on the ground back up into the air. And the ultimate goal is to reduce cross-contamination. You don't want dirty stuff getting into an area that you've cleaned. And then kind of my last point on minimizing dust, like recognize that 10,000 acres just burned and the trade winds blow across those fields and straight into your affected area. So you're going to want to just recognize that that's probably going to continue to occur over time. Personal protective equipment. When you're doing this type of work, respiratory protection is number one. You don't need to go full hog and get a professional respirator. The N95 dust masks that are available at most hardware stores are more than sufficient. You're going to want to make sure that you wear gloves as well, because like I said, when you come in contact, the natural moisture in your body will turn that soot into an acid, and it can actually burn your fingers. And then what burns in the fields is not just grass. There's a lot of other things that are in those fields. There's plastics. So you're not just worried about like ash from a normal campfire. There can be some plastics and stuff like that in those fields. And just an overall recommendation, whenever I talk about health and safety, I always say just pay attention to your body. It's going to give you an indicator if you're starting to slow down, if you're having a hard time breathing. Get out of the area, get some fresh air, drive south, drive north, do whatever you got to do to get some fresh air, and limit your exposure. Because if you're not well, you can't do much to make your home cleaner or your community better. So step one in fire restoration is going to be, we call it gross removal. And this is taking care of any visible ash that you can see, whether that's inside or outside of your home. If you've got burned twigs on your property, half-burnt trees, that kind of stuff, you're going to want to go ahead and clear those and get them out of the way. What that means for inside of your home is the ash that has settled. You're going to want to use a HEPA-filtered vacuum to do an initial clean on every surface that was exposed. There's a simple way to check. If you just simply take your finger, wipe it on the surface, and if you see any residue on your finger, you know you need to clean that area. I'll reiterate, it's important to make sure that the vacuum is HEPA filtered. If you use a traditional vacuum that doesn't have HEPA filtration, you'll end up sucking the soot into the vacuum and spitting it out of the exhaust, causing an even bigger issue. The next step is just to recognize that the cleaning methodology is important. You're going to want to work top to bottom, so then that way as you're working high, you're knocking things down low, and then you're going to want to work from the furthest point in the room towards the door. And you're going to repeat that sequence over and over again in every single room. It's okay to use normal cleaning products. I know everybody thinks there's a lot of magic in the products that we use, and there is a little bit of magic to them. They just tend to work a little bit better. But if you've got Simple Green in your cabinet, and that's usually what you use to clean your home, use it. It's going to work just as good. And then if you can, consider using a smoke odor counteractant with your cleaning solution, but you want to make sure that it's compatible with your cleaning solution. And normally that's the reason why we use specialized products, is because we know the degreaser is compatible with the smoke odor counteractant. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start by wet wiping every surface. Take a rag. Microfiber rags are usually the best, but if all you have is terry towels or beach towels, they'll work just fine. And you're going to want to wipe and then only use that side of the rag once, fold again, use it again, and so on and so forth. Because if you continue to wipe with the same dirty rag, you're not cleaning, you're actually just spreading it around on the surface. And then my last comment on cleaning methodology, make sure that you are changing your wash water frequently. When soot mixes with water, it turns into an acid, and acidic solutions don't clean well. The next thing you're going to do after you do your wet wipe is you're going to go ahead and vacuum again. And I know that feels redundant, and you may look at the area and go, hey, I don't think I need to vacuum again. But that final vacuum is important, because as you're cleaning, you're actually knocking things loose and not capturing them on the rags. And that last little HEPA vac will give you that seal of approval to make sure that the space is clean. And then again, make sure that you are using a HEPA filtered vacuum. That is super important. Step 4, keep it clean. So if you have central air conditioning, this is an opportunity to go ahead and then turn on your air conditioning, but make sure that you have a clean filter and you change the filters every day, every other day. Just stay on top of it, because soot mixes with water, turns into an acid. That can really start to eat at the coils and internal components of your air conditioning system if your filters aren't changed. If you don't have air conditioning, and I'm sitting here telling you, hey, don't open your windows, go ahead and open your windows, but take a traditional air conditioning filter and simply tape it to the window opening so you can allow the air to blow into your house, but you're making sure that it is filtered air that is coming into your house. Or the other thing that you can do is open the windows on the opposite side of the home from where the fire burned. And then lastly, just reiterate, these tons of burn debris in these fields, it's going to continue to come into your home or towards your home, and you kind of have to be patient and wait for the rain and the other things in the environment to do their job to reduce that dust. And then lastly, I want to reiterate the mission of Premier Restoration. It is restoring the lives, businesses, and communities of Hawaii. It's very much so a huge part of our culture. We do everything that we can to try and benefit our communities, and we look at events like this as our opportunity to give back to the community that has always stepped up and taken care of us. So through that vein, don't ever hesitate to contact us if you need information, you need help, even if it's not a job that we can do and you just need information, give us a call. We're happy to help. Comment on the video. I'll answer personally. We just want to make sure that everybody's taken care of and we work through this situation together. Again, our phone number is 808-873-8886. And from me to you, thank you for the opportunity to help as we walk through this event together.